When I was a little girl, I became obsessed with this big thing called Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, to be more particular, I became obsessed with Tails. This did not happen completely on my own. This was actually the result of my two cousins. I remember going over to their house one day to play, and they were playing Sonic Adventure. And I asked them, "What's this thing?" And they gave me the controller and said, "Here, find out." And then from there on out, my entire life changed. That was pretty much it. From there on out, I didn't care about anything else besides Sonic and Tails and Amy and Cream and Cosmo, and that was it. That was my life. I didn't care about anything else. Another big part of my childhood was this amusement park from where I grew up called Kings Island. And just around the time that I started getting into Sonic, Kings Island suddenly had Sonic the Hedgehog prizes everywhere. You could win them in ring toss, you could win them in that water racing game, and I actually did precisely that. I won my very first Tails Prower plushie in one of the water racing games at Kings Island. Along with me getting Tails, one of my cousins got an Amy plushie. The younger cousin got a Sonic plushie, and my younger sister got a Cream plushie. Not from the amusement park though, we couldn't really find any Cream. I think we got one online or something. So now the gang's all here. We all have our favorite Sonic characters in hand, and we started making memories. And I'm gonna share those memories with you. They're incredibly embarrassing, but me and my cousins and my sister formed this thing called the Sonic Club. The Sonic Club is just a club where we hosted meetings where we talked about how much we loved Sonic, and we had dance parties, and we played with our toys, and just did a bunch of really crazy things. And when kids play with their toys, they wind up making a bunch of really crazy scenarios with, the toys that they have. And actually, that's what I want to talk about in particular. I'm going to talk about the canon behind the stories that we had sort of created with our Sonic plushies. I'm going to point out really quickly that the canon that we had created has nothing to do with how I feel about Sonic. It has nothing to do with any opinions that I have. I was 10 or something like that. So it has nothing to do, and it does not reflect on how I actually feel in the slightest towards how the official canon should go. We literally made stuff up. So let's go ahead and dive into our incredibly embarrassing Sonic Club canon. So first we'll start off with the fact that me and Tails were the president of the Sonic Club. So we'll kind of start off with my character, Tails, and how he sort of fit into this canon. He was pretty much a very big main character. He winds up having a massive crush on Amy, and they were dating for quite a bit of time. Actually, I remember when they went on a first date, and they were like, "Oh no, I can't have a crush on this person because Amy is supposed to like Sonic." But then Amy turned out to actually like Tails back. So in the Sonic Club canon, Tails and Amy wind up dating. They're incredibly lovey-dovey the entire time. They're both just complete lovesick puppies throughout every single story. Things could be going on that's crazy, I don't know, the moon's gonna blow up or something, or I don't know, the forest is on fire, and they're kissing each other "Oh, I love you so much. I love you too, Amy. I love you, Tails." It's oh god. By the way, I did not play Amy. My cousin did. Eventually, after I think they dated for, I don't know, a year, Tails proposed to Amy, and they had a big wedding. They had a big wedding where I think Sonic actually married them, which was super hilarious, and Cream was the flower girl. And that started their new life. So first comes love, then comes marriage, and then they had kids. At some point, we wound up finding miniature plushies of Tails, Amy, and Shadow. Maybe a Sonic, but we didn't really use that one. So what we did is we had mini Amy and mini Tails, and they were pretty much Tails and Amy's kids. Mini Amy was super gothic for some reason. I think we put her in gothic makeup, like the big spikes under the eyes. We put her in a sparkly red dress, and when she got a little bit older, she wound up having a crush on Mini Shadow. That's what we called him, at least. And Tails always hated Mini Shadow, I got my eye on you. And Mini Amy was just like, oh my god, Dad, like, you're so embarrassing. I love Mini Shadow, you're just gonna have to deal with it. On the other hand, for some weird unknown reason, we made Mini Tails pretty much like, exactly like Donnie from the Wild Thornberry. So whenever he spoke, he just went, blah, 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 like, just complete nonsense. And Tails completely resented him, like, yeah, get away from me, son, I don't know you. Going back to Mini Amy for a minute, it was always really funny. So I actually played Mini Amy, and then my cousin who played Amy, like grown-up Amy, played Mini Shadow. So I remember Mini Amy would always be like really lovey-dovey and be like, oh, I love you, Mini Shadow, or whatever. And Shadow, for some reason, would always just go, ugh. He would just like kind of make like these quiet groaning noises. I mean, it was kind of in character, I guess, but it was just really funny to think about. So like he barely ever spoke. Like at most he just would like grunt. Even when like Tails would like give him a stern talking to, he'd just be like, or whatever. And like at most he'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. So we have quite a bit of like a family tree going on here, but let's also talk about Cream the Rabbit. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate that the club canon has nothing to do about like how I really feel about the official canon. For some reason, Tails and Amy and everybody practically just bullied the absolute poo out of Cream. I can't tell you why. Like, whenever they'd play, like, Truth or Dare, whenever, like, Tails and Amy got it, we'd be like, oh, Truth, do you have a crush on me? Hee hee hee. And then, like, we go to Cream, and she'd be like, Dare. We'd be like, drink from the toilet, you filthy slob. I have no idea why they bullied Cream. I don't hate Cream. In fact, Cream's one of my favorite Sonic characters. I think it more had to do with the fact that me and my cousin were, like, older than my sister, and like my sister was like my little sister, so we're just like kind of like, I don't know, picking on her, I guess. I don't know. We were all kids, so I mean, I couldn't really explain it. As for Sonic, he was practically never around, mainly because our other cousin, it was our boy cousin, he just didn't really play that much. Like, he really liked Sonic and he had the Sonic plushie, but he really wasn't around. Like, he'd be around during some of the meetings, but like, funny enough, we just didn't really care about him that much. We're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, Sonic was, you know, the guy who married Tails and Amy, but he really did not play a very big role in the canon or the club, which I think is kind of funny. He would just show up whenever we would, like, convince him to, like, play with us. Be like, oh, come on, we're gonna go in a spaceship and we're gonna get trapped in space. Like, it'll be fun. We're gonna play on the bunk bed. And then he'd be like, alright, yeah, okay. And like, Sonic would show up probably, I don't know, 20% of the time. So Sonic's pretty much MIA. So that's pretty much the Sonic Club canon for the most part. We have like this really big, you know, family tree with Tails and Amy and like them having kids. We have no idea where Mini Shadow came from, by the way. We have like no idea where he just popped up from. We're like, oh, maybe he's Shadow's kid, I guess. Who knows who the mom is? Just there, I guess. Like, we didn't have a big Shadow at the time. So we just were like, yeah, here he is, kind of sprinkled with just a few additional characters here and there. I think at some points we would like bring in random non-canon stuffed animals just to like play certain parts. A really big part of our club was doing our dance parties, where we would like dance back and forth and we'd like make chips and cheese, and we would literally listen to, what is it, like We Like to Party, Hi Hi Puffy EmuEmi, and the Graduation song from like several years ago. We had like the super cool disco ball and be like, oh yeah guys, it's Sonic Club dance party night, let's go. Those were probably the big highlights. Another fun thing about the meetings that we did too is that like they would like get distracted really easily. We did this thing where they'd run off, and then we had like Sonic Adventure on, and we had the sound test left on the TV. And to get everyone's attention to come back into the room for a meeting, we put the drowning music on. And like, if they didn't make it back before the drowning music, then they'd get in trouble. Or they'd lose. It was a really big part of my childhood. It was really goofy and made literally no sense, but I had a lot of fun, and I think my cousins and my sister did for the most part too. It's a really big piece of history. I'm kind of wondering if any of you have any childhood memories that have to do with Sonic or plushies or, you know, anything with your cousins or anything like that. I'm really curious what you guys have to share about that. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later.